What's happening, guys? It's Joe, and today I kind of want to talk about my speculations for what DOOMFIST will be. Now, of course, DOOMFIST is a character that has been teased for quite a long time. Of course, the person in the limelight right now is Sombra. Sombra's probably going to be the next character. But I kind of just want to talk about DOOMFIST and talk about what I think his kit may in fact be, or at least what I want the kit to be for myself. Now, one really important thing, listen to this right now. First and foremost, this is 100% pure speculation. None of this is confirmed in the least, and all of this is just me saying what I hope goes for the character. I just really enjoy doing this, really talking about what I hope a character is, talking about their kit and stuff, but don't go around saying, you know, Joe King said this was the kit. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this was what I'd kind of like for DOOMFIST to be as a character. And with that, don't count on Blizzard including all of these ideas or any of these ideas in his kit. This is just kind of fun, you know, talking about the character, what I feel like they could do. Maybe someday they'll add some ideas from my own ideas into their kit. Who knows? But yeah, purely speculation, purely fun. And of course, if you guys have your own ideas for DOOMFIST, please leave them in the comment section below, as this is just trying to talk about what we're thinking DOOMFIST is going to be and just trying to hype up DOOMFIST. But yeah, with all that said, let's get the hype train rolling and let's get to talking about what I hope DOOMFIST will actually be. So first off, before I talk about any of my speculative moveset, HP, or anything like that, I do want to say that I'm hoping that DOOMFIST is a off-tank, kind of a bit more of an unoffensive off-tank. You know, he can hit people, do some damage, but he still has quite a bit of HP and still can recover some of his own shield to be kind of tanky. So that's what my main idea with this is, and of course I want him to be in the tank category, as I do want a few more tank-type characters. But now to actually talking about DOOMFIST. To begin, I'm hoping that he has about 250 HP, about 100 armor, and about 50 shield. Now, my reasoning for this is that, of course, I have an ability later on that uses shield, so I want him to have at least 50 of that. And as well with armor, armor's very nice, have about 100. It would make him kind of better as a tank because I really didn't give him too much sustain. And of course, 250 HP is just a nice amount of HP, and it adds up to 400 total defense stat, I guess you could call it, like HP, armor, and shield together. So that would be pretty nice. 400 is about the average. It's like Zarya, she has shield, but he would have, you know, this mixture. So yeah, 400 seems nice to me. But now to his actual, you know, his kit, his abilities, and what I'm thinking. So to start off, the main thing about him, of course, his left click. So the thing that you'll hit most often. Now, what I'm hoping that they do for this left click, so bad, I mean, I don't know if they're going to do anything like this, but I'm hoping that they make it somewhat like Vi from League of Legends. Now, I'll show you on the screen right now what Vi does. So with Vi, when you press E, and then you attack a minion, you see, it hits, and then makes a shockwave right behind the minion. Now, I'm hoping they do something similar to this in Overwatch. So whenever you press the left click button, you'll punch into the air, and it'll make a shockwave right behind where you punch. Now, of course, this will be like a medium wave shockwave, not really that much longer than the Reinhardt hammer, maybe a little bit longer. No, a little bit more forward, but it won't be like some really nice sniper shockwave or anything. It'll just be a pretty close melee character. So it'll be quite a bit further range than melee, but you know, not something super long. So yeah, it'll be something like that. He shoots out a shockwave, and it'll of course be in a cone similar to Vi. And with that, I also want to say that I want this ability to do a high amount of damage to shields and armor, but very little damage to HP. Now, what this would mean is that if you're a frontline tank, you can use this, you can break through everyone's shield, everyone's armor, all the other tanks, but at the same time, you can't just go up and insta-kill all the squishies. Like Reinhardt, you know, he can just take his hammer, 1-2 shot the squishies. I don't want you to be able to do that as this character. I want you to have to take out the tanks, take out the people with a lot of armor, take out people with a lot of shields, and just punch, and do a lot of damage to that. I feel like that would be really nice, and it would counterplay any character that is very good with shield or very good with armor. So I just want to have high damage on shield, high damage on armor, but of course, very small damage on HP, like super small amounts of damage. The next thing after that, though, that's of course his main attack. The next thing I want is of course just his right click, which would be normal punch. Just a normal melee, and of course, just you could press the melee button instead, it wouldn't really matter. After that, I also do have, of course, his E ability, which I'm hoping would be something like this, where you could charge up his melee attack. So you'd press E, and it would charge up his melee attack, or his right click, for the next 5 seconds or so, making so it would deal a lot of damage to targets, but what it would do was completely deplete your shield. So, of course, you have 50 shield, you press E, that shield completely goes away. So it would essentially make so that once you get in this mode, you have a little bit less shield, but now you can go ham a little bit more. You can do a bit more damage, but you can't go ham all the time. I'd have this thing have like a 20-second cooldown, a very long cooldown, but when you do know it's the perfect time to go for those melee attacks, you do it. You go punch, do a lot of damage, then you walk back and go more towards those longer range shockwaves again. And I feel like that would give you a good mixture of going in, punching people, doing a lot of damage, and then getting out and just shooting people with shockwaves a little bit. After that, of course, I do have his shift, which I'm saying would be kind of similar to Winston's. You know how Winston just lets him jump forward? Well, hoping with this, you would have him clap behind him or punch behind him or something like that, which would in fact send you quite a bit forward as DOOMFIST, and it would make you, you know, hit the people behind you, doing a bit of damage to them and hurting their shields quite a bit. But the negative about this is that I'd also wanted to have it have a very, very long cooldown, like 10, 15 seconds or something like that. Now, the reason for this is that it makes so you can't just, you know, go in, go out, go in, go out. I want this guy to be, you have to go in, and then you go in for a long time. You know, you're very good off tank, you run in, hit them, do stuff like that. You can't just keep spamming it, going in and out. You won't really be a hit and run character quite as much as Winston or quite as much as D.Va or anyone like that, or a Tracer. You're going to be like a guy that goes in, goes ham, and then of course you can walk out if you want to. But yeah, I'm hoping more just engage with this move, or just completely run away with this move and try to stop people from following you by doing, of course, that shockwave damage. So that's what I'm hoping with that shift, you know, just to kind of engage. Other than that, of course, I also want to talk about what I'm thinking his passive could be. And this passive would probably make him, you know, a really cool tank. So what I'm hoping that it would do is that it would make so each one of his regular melee punches charges up his shield by 25 or 10, depending on how good it is. 25 or 10 shield points whenever you hit an enemy. So this would be really, really cool. Let's say that you use your E, you go all the way down to 0 shield, you know, and you're still gonna have about, 350 armor and HP together. So you'll have 0 shield, but then you can walk up and start punching people, punch them left and right, and start regenerating, you know, 25, 50, 25, 50, over and over again. But at the same time, you would have to be at melee range. If the enemy team looks over to you, shoots you, you're gonna die really quickly. You don't have a shield, you don't have anything to protect yourself. You're gonna die, but, you know, if they're only slightly attacking you sometimes, you can walk up, you can punch people, you can regenerate most of the shield damage that the enemy is doing to you, and you could be a pretty cool off tank. And this would be probably my favorite idea. It makes you a off tank. You can't be completely targeted. You instantly die. You know, you get 1 or 2 punches, dead. But what you could do is that if people are only slightly targeting you, you could survive for quite a long time with that shield. And I don't know, something about that just really hits home with me, where you can have a shield that only goes off really once you're punching the enemy, once you're off, once you're engaging on the enemy. And of course, once you're doing defense, you don't get the shield. Left click wouldn't give you any shield. You know, the shockwave attack, no shield benefit. It would just be once you hit them with your melee attack, and of course you could use your E to bonus up that melee attack. And well, with this, you don't have to use your E to get that shield back. You could just randomly punch people to get health. And as always, your regular melee attack would only be like 40 damage. So it's not like you're doing a ton of damage to the enemies without your E up. You're just doing, you know, decent amounts of damage, you know, the regular 40, which isn't that good. But you would be giving yourself a shield very often. So there you go. That's what I'm hoping with that. And then finally, of course, I want to talk about what I really think his ultimate could be, as long as, you know, he kind of keeps this same play style that I'm talking about. So I hope his ultimate has 2 ways of hitting, of course, since he has this right click and he has this left click. So with the right click, I'm hoping he has a super freaking strong punch. So, you know, you press right click, you just wham the enemy, and if you hit an enemy right in front of you, it'll shoot them straight backwards with a quite big hitbox, like a slipstream hitbox that will suck in anyone that's very close to them. And then, of course, the teammates will be taken along with that one enemy that you hit, and they'll either insta-kill them or do about 400 to 500 damage. So essentially, it'll be like a Reinhardt shift, except for that it can hit multiple people, but I would want this ultimate to take a long time to charge. And of course, when you break shields and armor and stuff like that, it doesn't really give you, I think, that much charge, if any charge. So it would take quite a while to get this, so that would kind of be the counter. It would just take a while to get. And of course, another ultimate idea that I have, probably the second ultimate, you could probably pick from either that or the other one. The other one is what I'd want it to be, so when you press the left click, it does another thing with, of course, the wave idea. So whenever you would press that left click with your ultimate up, it would just make a big shockwave that would shoot, of course, completely forward. It would essentially be a much bigger version of your shockwave cone, so it would just increase the size by a ton, and then, of course, it would completely take down all the shields and do quite a big chunk of damage to armor, like 100 or 200, maybe even 300 damage. But it also makes it that this cannot kill at all. You just use it to get rid of the enemy shields, get rid of the enemy tanks, and, you know, just kind of blast through them. And of course, this would be a very nice counter to Lucio ults. Then you go for an ult, and it counters his ult. That would be really, really cool in my opinion. And that would give people like Lucio some counterplay, as they don't really have that much right now with their ultimates. You know, you could counter Lucio's ult with your own ult, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Overall, no matter how Blizzard make this character, I do hope that they make him an offensive tank. We don't really have anyone like that right now that is an offensive tank that can just run in and can't get out immediately. Of course, we do have a kind of offensive tank. You know, we have Winston. He can jump in, but he can jump out. I want someone that, you know, has to go in, stay in, do a lot of damage, maybe die, I don't even know. But yeah, somebody that is just a really offensive off tank, and I really hope that they don't give him another just plain shield like Zarya, where, you know, you give someone a shield, or like Reinhardt, there's a shield, D.Va, shields projectiles. I hope they don't give him something like that, as I feel like we already have enough tanks. All the tanks but one already have a shield, so please, no more shields, at least for the next tank hero. Of course, after that, you can add any amounts of shields. But yeah, that's all what I'm hoping. And this is, of course, just all my own speculation, all what I'm thinking. And, as always, tell me what you guys want in the comment section below. Do you want a very offensive-oriented guy? Maybe not a tank at all. Maybe you want someone that's a Doomfist that can just run in, punch people left and right, has a shift up a lot, can just jump all over the place, punching people, killing people. Maybe you want that. Maybe you want somehow a support Doomfist, however you could do that. Maybe a defense Doomfist. I have no idea what you guys want. But tell me what you're all thinking about this character. I am very excited for this character. And I'm really hoping that he comes out as something cool and something very unique. Of course, they wanted to make Genji a completely melee hero, and maybe they could pull this off with Doomfist if they gave him the ability of the Doomfist to hit in like a cone in front of him. I feel like that could work decently well, as it would give him some range and he wouldn't be completely melee, because melee is a little bit hard to balance, but this could be maybe a little bit easier to balance as it has a bit of range, kind of like Reinhardt. Anyways though, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, of course, leave a like, and as always, have a wonderful day.